Shooters Connection offers products for competition shooters by competition shooters. With over 80 years of combined competition shooting experience, Shooters Connection is staffed by master and grandmaster shooters who live the shooting sports every day. We offer same-day shipping. Shooters Connection also sponsors over 100 of your matches every single year. So when it comes to finding everything you need to compete as a beginner or a seasoned grandmaster, Shooters Connection is the only name you need to know. Online at shootersconnectionstore.com.
All right, what's up, everybody? We are back with the Hit Factor podcast after another hard-hitting nationals. The match was quite interesting and quite close again, and there was a little bit of other drama. Can we just say like Max won PCC and a chick finished second, and then we'd just be done with PCC? Is that all right?
No, we gotta go over it.
Oh, geez. Okay. What do you can talk about PCC? Whatever you got. That we have Jeff Cawthon, Mr. I think he's a single stack shooter now. So is he a GM now? Are you a GM again?
Yeah, I'm back to being a GM.
Yeah, all right. He's back to being a GM single stack shooter, and
it's
myself.
the only reason I'm shooting single stack. So I wasn't feeling relevant.
Yeah. So. He wanted to be an elitist howler monkey again.
Yeah.
So he's back to shooting single stack, and I'm still shooting single stack and a GM. So.
Mm-hmm. Okay, before we get rolling into that, let's talk about Discord real quick.
Oh yeah.
Per request, we've added a tier to the Discord. So there's a second tier where if you're a part of this tier, you can put in a special hidden channel, a shout out that we will talk about on the Discord, which I will read our one shout out right now. After I finish talking about this. So yeah, you go in, you become a part of this tier. It costs more money. You also become a member of the Discord with this.
Jeff is
tier.
Charging money for something? Imagine that.
Yeah.
That is a shocker.
The next thing you can purchase is going to be a t-shirt. It's going to say monetize your life.
That sounds about right.
So with this tier, you also become part of the Discord. So it's like a all-in-one kind of deal. But yeah, purchase a shout out. It could be a shout out to a buddy. It could be you talking shit on somebody. It's got to be short. This is not a full 30-second ad slot like we would normally deal with like a sponsor of the show. But so first shout out, here it goes. This podcast is also brought to you by Billy McScrublord, a.k.a. Mackinpool on Instagram. Like Jeff, I also dished Canic, but instead of regressing to a nickel-plated sissy pistol, I am shooting the one true division. #only shoot open.
Way to go.
Thank you, Billy McScrublord.
McScrublord, Mackinpood, Phillip.
Yes, and Billy is our one second tier Discordian. He's the only one other than me, Jeremy, and Jared that have access to the secret tier 2 Discord channel.
I mean, people are missing out. Like the conversations that happen in there. Like people definitely need to pay up. They're missing out on some conversations in there.
Yeah, and to keep things from getting too cluttered up, there are only 10 slots available for the shout out tier of Discord. And if that fills up terribly quickly, then more money. We'll just charge more money.
That's extremely exclusive. I feel like at this point, like I got to stop giving people like C-Class Legend. I got to stop giving them shout outs. Because if I keep giving them shout outs, then they're not going to pay for it. And I want him to pay for it.
Well, he gives enough, Jeremy. Come on now.
Does he? I don't know.
He gives enough.
Little leprechaun, like he's got a pot of gold somewhere.
He does.
Yeah.
So that's that Discord spiel over. Let's move on to nationals.
We do have hats, and I did have a question on the Discord from a guy like how to get the hats. You can just send me an email, reidpistolsmithing@gmail.com, or you can send money to PayPal for that. Just like make sure you tell me that like I had one guy that like just sent me money and sent an address, but didn't tell me like what it was what it was for. So I was like, well, this is kind of cool. I got $40, but I didn't know. Uh, so I sent the guy a message like, hey, I want a hat. I was like, oh, okay, that's good. So I sent him a hat. So you can find me on PayPal. I think just Jeremy Reid, REID, and you'll find me on PayPal. So yeah, we got hats, $35. That includes shipping, so it's cheaper than it was.
Nice. What if they catch you in person? How much are they?
$30. If it's at a match, like $30.
$30. Okay. There you go. Bus and hats are not designed yet.
No, those will come out eventually. We got to sell some more of these other ones. All right, nationals. Okay. Jeff has to talk about PCC, so he can talk about PCC.
I mean, we might as well acknowledge the divisions.
It's not a real division.
So, top 3 PCC: Max Leograndis, Scott Green, Todd Jarrett.
Justine Williams was second, correct?
Well, I was just doing the men's, and then I was going to do ladies.
We don't have a men's division.
Well, we do.
No, there's not.
Because we have a ladies division.
There's not a men's division. It's just there's overall.
Here's my thing.
Ladies division.
Here's my thing. Like, and this may be wrong, but like if the ladies are gonna have ladies national champion, then I'm not gonna put them in the overall. Like it's gonna be ladies and it's gonna be men's.
I mean, you can do that. Like if that's your like. You're gonna fight the man that way, like that's good. But you are the only person in any sort of recognition in this sport that will do it that way, because the ladies, military, junior, senior, those are categories.
I get that, but I don't think like ladies should be a category. I think it should be like there should be a ladies division, like every other sport.
Oh, and they cannot compete against the men?
Yeah. I mean, that's how every other sport's done.
Is that because they can't?
I don't know. I mean, it's generally because they can't. They get closer in this sport, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, so I would think...
These are facts. These are facts. This is just facts, bro.
I don't know if everything you're saying is facts necessarily. I don't think we disagree too much on men versus women in athletic endeavors. But I think Justine would rather be second place overall than ladies national champion. I may be putting words in her mouth. That would be my guess.
Yeah, you might be. I think you might be. But okay, I'll go ahead and say it. Max first. Justine second, Scott Green third, Todd Jarrett fourth. In the men's, it's Max Leograndis first, Scott Green second, Todd Jarrett third. Ladies, PCC, you're making me spend way more time on this than I was intending to.
Well, I didn't know you were going to bring up Justine the gender Williams, divide here.
Lydia Tumble? Lydia Tumble.
Linda Turnbull.
Is it Turnbull? Dude, I could not tell if that was an R and an N or an
N. Linda Turnbull.
Turnbull?
It's Max's girlfriend.
Okay. Never heard of her. Linda Turnbull and Ashlyn Champagne?
Got no idea. Never heard of her.
Cool last name. She's a junior.
Good for her.
There you go. production. Let's go ahead and just do the ladies so that we can spend a lot of time talking about the drama and
Yes.
everything that happened in the men's. So production, ladies. uh, Jaleese Williams first place. Kaylee Lane. Is it Kaylee or Kaylee? Right.
I thought it was Kaylee.
Yeah, Kaylee second place, and Candace third place. You don't have any.
No.
All right,
No.
onto the overall. Onto the overall. All right. All right. So first, let's just run through the top 16.
Wait. Okay, hold on a second. Before, like, I am confused. So, should Nils get an overall national trophy and a men's trophy
Well,
in your world?
ideally we wouldn't have like an overall. You'd have a men's and a ladies,
Oh,
right?
and so he would just get a men's.
Yeah, he
So
would
a
be
woman couldn't beat him.
right. I mean, I guess you could compare it
It would
overall,
it would
but
basically
there
be a
wouldn't
different
be.
match.
Yeah, I mean, the purpose of the overall is to combine all the classes, not necessarily the categories, right?
Incorrect.
You don't think so?
Overall is everyone.
Yeah, I know. I know. I mean, I guess they do split it up 15 freaking different ways, but yeah, I mean, I guess I was thinking more along the lines of other sports. You have a men's and you have a women's, and do it that way.
Yeah. Except
I
we
mean,
have
I don't like. I'm not saying we have to do it that way. I don't really care, honestly, but that's just the way I think about it.
Okay. I was just trying to get into Jeff Cawthon's mind for a second.
Yeah.
All right, top 16.
Top 16. First place, Nils Johnson. Jonasson. I don't. Yeah. Anyway, Nils Jonasson, Jacob Hetherington, Sal Luna, Mason Lane, Casey Reid, Brian
Giovanni, right?
No, there's an extra N in there.
Giovannini?
Giovannini.
I did not
probably
notice the
saying-
extra IN. Giovannini.
Yeah.
I
Phil
think it's
Strader coming in 7th. Stephen Lutman, Brennan Decker, Justin Martinez, Jarrett Fox, coming in 11th place. Mike Shatulov, Caleb Higby, Austin Hull, Matthew Nash, Trenton Sokoviev.
Sokoviev.
What?
Sokoviev.
Sokoviev?
Yeah.
And that's the top 16.
Yep.
There you go.
And there's a name missing from there.
Oh, yeah. JJ. Yeah, JJ's missing.
Why is JJ not in the top 16?
Yeah, so this is I mean, do we want to like discuss the good part of this first? Like the people that did well and everything? It was
That's up to you.
It was really close match.
There was.
Going into the last stages between Nils and Jacob. And I mean, it looks like Sal was
right there too, pretty well.
But going into like the last two stages, it was going into the last stage. It was a 2-point match between Nils and Jacob.
Yeah,
and then
my understanding is that stage was a pretty challenging with quite a bit of distance on that stage. I didn't see it, but that was my understanding of it.
I kind of thought that from I think it was that one that I was looking at the scores.
Like Nils had a
Hmm.
couple deltas on it.
Yeah, because everybody had a couple deltas.
Yeah, yeah.
Hmm. Yeah, so you can kind of assume that there was some difficult shots on that stage.
Hmm. Yeah, so
Yeah.
Nils came out and just like he crushed the stage and won it. I mean, he did Nils type things, and then Jacob, uh, shot it okay, but just not up to
Hmm.
Jacob's. I mean, Jacob has the ability to crush things, and he was just a couple seconds. I'm wondering if there was some steel because he was a couple seconds back and had a miss, so you could tell he was definitely trying to push. He's still sixth on the stage, but there was a 22-point difference,
Hmm.
and in the final results, final match scores, Nils beat Jacob by 23 match points. So
Hmm.
yeah, it was
Right.
it was right there, and from what Nils said on social media, at least, like basically Nils and Jacob were kind of just trading stage wins that last day. Kind of one
Mm.
person be ahead, then the other person be ahead, and just kind of trading back and forth. They're just kind of two heavyweights throwing blows at each other, and those are the two guys that like I really wanted to see go at it because
Yeah.
I mean we haven't spelled it out yet, but Nils has won. Most people are saying he's won 4 USP titles. He actually won 5 because he won two gun nationals. He
Hmm.
won single stack nationals. He won carry optics. He won limited, and he won production. So I mean,
Yeah.
he's like Nils is on a tear this year that is uh, we haven't ever seen it in the US. Like there's just nobody has done what Nils has done this year. You know what Rob Latham used to do back in the day. He didn't have a chance to win 5 nationals in 1 year, so maybe Rob
Yeah.
would have way back then. We don't know, but in recent history, nobody's done what Nils done, um, and so he's always there, and he's got the confidence to win it when he needs to win it. Um, and with that said, like I think Jacob is the one guy, especially when if you're talking a production gun, like like Jacob's the guy that can like he still has a gear that maybe he has a gear that almost nobody else in the US has.
Hmm.
When he
Yeah.
when he's really hammering it, good grief, he does some ridiculous things with the production gun. So yeah, glad to see them go after it, and massive kudos to Nils for winning another one, uh, highly contested one. And Sal Luna right there again. Sal was
Yeah.
within 1% of Nils in limited game 1 week ago, and he was what
Hmm.
a percent and a half here. He was 98 something, I think, for the match.
Yeah.
Go back to the overall match. Yeah, he was
Yeah. He was
98.2,
98.
so 1.78% behind Nils.
Mm. Yeah. So as it finished, we and I basically guessed the same for the top four, or predicted the same for the top four. We got the top three, which was Nils, Jacob, Sal. Nailed that. Uh, but only really because JJ got bumped to open because he would have finished
He would have finished
third.
third, just in
Yeah.
front of
Hmm.
Sal.
And then it was Mason, right?
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, Mason fourth, and then Casey Reed ended up fifth.
Right. Yeah.
So Casey had a good match. I was glad to see Casey have that.
So actually, the only one I missed was fourth place.
You had Casey in fifth.
Yeah. Yeah.
Who did you leave out? What was your what was your
Mason. I left
Oh,
Mason.
you had Mason completely out of the top
Yeah,
five.
I had
Okay.
JJ in fourth and then Casey in fifth. But JJ got bumped, and Mason took fourth.
I mean,
So,
well done.
dude, whew,
That's
damn, that was
probably
good.
that's pretty impressive. I'll give you that. I mean, I was only off by one as well,
Yeah.
and only because JJ got bumped to open.
Yeah.
So JJ got bumped to open.
Yeah.
Let's get into this.
Okay.
So just like how did he get bumped to open? So
Mhm.
they used a box that had a hinged lid, and he put his gun inside the box, and the lid would not fully close,
A
which meant
hinged
that
lid.
they did.
Really?
So you've got two different options on a box. You can either have a lid like that. My understanding was a hinged lid. Um, you can have a lid like that, or you can just have an open box and you just run a straight edge over
Yeah.
the top of it. You can kind of do that either way. My understanding was that this one had a lid on it, and that lid would not quite
Yeah.
close all the way.
I knew they had
Um,
lids. I just didn't know if they were like. I didn't think they were attached. I thought it was just something you just set on there. I don't
uh,
know.
I guess it could have just been one they sat on it. I have seen them that hinge.
Really?
Um,
Okay.
yeah. So you could be right. Maybe it's just one that just sat on there. I don't know. That's actually a good question. C-Class Legend can answer that for us. I'm sure
Yeah. He'll know.
we'll get some feedback on that. But his gun did not make it, and this came at the end of day 2,
Mhm.
and JJ was leading the match at this point. He
Yeah.
was up a bit.
So, to kind of like preface all this, JJ claims he claims this is the exact same gun, the exact same configuration that he shot last year. Okay. So
Well, he
that's
just said
one.
the same gun, right?
No, he actually did say it was the same safeties and everything.
Oh, okay, okay.
Yeah, I saw that in one of his comments. So that's one thing to take into consideration. Other thing is we have it. Uh, we've heard that the box from last year was built to what was it built to the spec and not the tolerance? Is
Well,
that
all of
what
them
was going
now are
on?
built to max spec. I don't think
Okay. Or
I
was
think
it that the
last year
box last year just had no lid?
I think the box last year didn't have a lid, and I don't know that they ran a straight edge over it. I think they stuck it in the box and just
And
it
then
fit
just
inside
went
the
along.
box, and they just called it good.
Right.
Um, so I mean, JJ, man,
And
I mean, Jeff.
there were rumors that were going on that were like they're getting another box. So he's gonna bring the same gun and do it in another box. Like what? I don't know if that's true, but those were the rumors that were going around.
There was definitely lots of speculation about whether that would have happened or not. Uh,
Yeah.
and I mean, obviously, we've seen that with people getting to re-chrono
Yeah. Yeah.
and stuff like that. So nobody would have been surprised. Um, and I mean, Jeff loves to pick on JJ,
Yeah, I do.
and I'm here for that. Like, I think that's great. I I like JJ. The times I've talked to him and been around him, I like JJ. Like, he seems like a nice guy. Um, uh, I don't know. Maybe that's just something he gives off, but I like to think that he's like that's
Mm-hmm.
genuine and stuff. But
Right.
if you go to JJ's byline in his Instagram page, it says pro shooter. And so then there's this thing about JJ, and this is why Jeff likes to pick on JJ, and it's very easy because it is like clockwork. If JJ does not win the match, or even if he does win the match, even then there's oftentimes there is
Mm-hmm.
an excuse for why he didn't perform as well as he thinks he should perform, and it's usually something like it's an excuse that's not like, oh, I shot a mic. It's an excuse like, oh, I'm using the same gun as I did last year, and this box is messed up. Otherwise, I'm winning this match.
Yeah,
Um,
that's the main thing, is that he flaunts the excuse and like emphasizes it, right? He it doesn't It's not that just that stuff happens and he says it to people around him. It's that if that
yeah,
happens, he's going straight to social media and he's saying, I'm leading the match. If I'm still in it, I'm leading the match, kind of deal. He
yeah,
did the same thing. Um, he's done the same thing at multiple matches.
yes,
There's been matches where he shows up and he doesn't have the right ammunition. So he makes a big deal out of that. Oh, I didn't have the right bullets, and now he shows up and his gun won't fit the box. Oh, well, I should be winning. I would be winning right now. And he goes and makes sure everybody knows about it. And I'm glad Jared's not here, because he would not want me to be railing on JJ right now, and he might not let me post this. But, dude, it bugs me to no end that he's the professional, and he's the one that's getting paid to be there. He's the one that has the most time and resources to be able to get this shit right, and he's the one that doesn't, and he's the one that makes the biggest excuses, where everyone else just takes it on the chin. They're like, ah, shit, I didn't come prepared.
yep.
And JJ doesn't. He doesn't say that.
Yeah. So like the thing that gets me about this, or there's a couple of things that get me about this. The first one is that like him trying to use the excuse that, well, this is the exact same gun I used last year. Uh, and he's trying to say that, well, then it should be fine this year.
Yeah.
What he actually admitted to is that he used an illegal gun last year.
Yeah. Yeah.
Like if the gun was illegal this year and you're using the
Yeah.
exact same gun, you're
Well,
you use an illegal gun the year before.
yeah.
And like I know that we tend to not view it this way, but like let's go to NASCAR and let them have some sort of illegal mod on their car. How do they get classified? Those people get classified as cheaters, right?
Mm-hmm.
Like that is not something that like just gets blown by. Oh, too bad for JJ. Really should have. Really, he was third in this match, but it's just
Right.
unfortunate he got bumped to open. It's
Right.
like
In another
no,
sport,
like
they would have like stripped him of his title a year ago.
right, yeah,
Right.
yeah, 100%. And
Yeah.
so like if I don't know if JJ will ever hear this, maybe he will, but like JJ, if you're hearing this and you're gonna claim that you're a professional shooter, like bro, like that does not mean that you can just claim your shooting skills are professional. Professional means that you got everything under wraps. And like I don't know that I've seen you like go through like more than one match in a row and have everything under control. All we hear is excuses. And that screams amateur. That does
Yeah.
not
And
scream professional.
it's like excuses louder than anyone else talks about excuses. That's the problem.
Yeah.
And this is the other thing, like when you're talking about, oh yeah, well the gun fit the box last year. So if I go put my gun in a box one year and they put it in there, like I'm looking, like I'm nervous. I'm like, oh, what if something happens this time? Okay, they
Mm-hmm.
put it in the box and I see that it's really damn close, and I'm like, oh, I'm glad they didn't put a lid on that. Well, I'm gonna go fix that so that shit doesn't
Right.
happen next time I come here. I don't want it to be close. I don't want it to be close, right?
Yeah.
I want to be well within the tolerances of a box,
Yeah.
because you get one RO that can't put the gun flat, or can't figure out how to wiggle it in there, and you're screwed. So you don't make it close. If you see that it's close, you fix it so next time it's not. And that's what I don't get. Is he's like, oh, it fit last year. Well, last year you obviously saw them have issues with it or not put a lid on it. So maybe test that when you get home, so
Well,
you know.
if you're a quote unquote professional, like this is your job to do this, you own a box at home. Like you're not like you don't go to nationals and you're like, I think it's gonna fit in this box. No, you own a box, and you probably, if you're smart, you own a box that you know is slightly undersized, and you make sure your gun fits that because you're gonna make sure that it will fit in any box that there is anywhere.
Yeah.
So yeah, I that part was pretty lame. And there's
Most
another thing that I would want to address, but I want to like give you the floor to have more opportunity to say whatever you want to say.
I think I've said it all, honestly. Um, we recorded like a year or so ago, well, more than a year ago, year and a half, 2 years ago. We recorded an episode where I just freaking railed JJ. Okay, but it was too spicy, and parties involved didn't want it released. So now I'm getting that chance. Been holding it in.
I was very disappointed that one never got released. Maybe that will go into the Patreon channel.
I
If
wish.
Jeff can
I
go,
wish I
if
could.
he can go
Yeah.
find that episode, he can release it on the Patreon. So there's one other thing that actually bugged me more about what JJ did here, more than it fit the box before, or he went in after day 2. Okay, in his Instagram post, and maybe he's changed it by now. I don't know, but he went into his Instagram account and is like, "I'm leading this match, and I don't care if it says I'm open." Basically, I'm going to paraphrase here. Basically, it doesn't matter if I say open. I'm still in this match, and so we're going to see how it shakes out tomorrow. With the inference that like if I win, if I beat Nils and Jacob and Sal and Mason and these guys, if I finish on top of the match like I am now, then I'm gonna scream it from the top of the world that I really won this match. And the funny thing is that he hasn't made a post since then. He
Well,
so he
yeah.
had day 1 updates, he had day 2 updates, and obviously like Nils kind of put the smackdown on him uh, on day 3, and there was no day 3 updates there. It went silent, and
Hmm.
uh, the thing about it is that with JJ, even if let's say JJ had finished on top in like if he had beaten Nils in the match, his making this inference that like basically that I'll act like I won the match anyway is that no, dude, like you were out of the match. Like you couldn't win the match. And so like for you to make any sort of claim that you would have won, you weren't under the same pressure because you couldn't win.
Yeah.
There was no title on the line for JJ at that point, other than the figurative title in his head. And so like I thought that was extremely classless to say that
Yeah.
I can still win this and I'll ignore the rules.
I
Um,
agree. It's
and that
it's a completely classless move, and I've seen other competitors do it, where they go, they fail equipment check, they fail chrono, they fail something, they're out of the match, right? And then they shoot it, and they act like, oh yeah, well if that wouldn't happen, I would have won. It's like, yeah, but half the competition is showing up with the right gear and the right equipment and meeting the criteria for your division, and then competing. So you
yeah,
lost the match before you started is really what happened here.
yep,
Yeah, that's it. Oh, dude, it makes me so mad.
I love it. I like getting Jeff fired up. So yeah, so like guys, if you're going to nationals, especially if you like have aspirations to win it, uh, get your gear in order. Like make sure it's at least legal. At the very least, make sure you're using legal equipment. Um, and if
Mm-hmm.
you don't own a box, like buy a box. Like the pro shop has them. Uh, I don't. I should know if I know that like Tim has Shock Bottle make boxes
Yeah.
for him. I don't know if Shooters Connection has one. I mean, this does bring up another thing like that I think I will say this, like, I think USPSA is like they have missed a boat here because there is a little bit of controversy in like, was the box last year different than the box this year? USPSA should have a certified box that they get manufactured. They have it made to their specs, and they have some sort of inspection of authenticity, make sure that is to the correct specs. And
Yeah.
and then they should have those at every area and nationals match, but then they also should have those available for any member to buy, so that they can buy that box, they can use the box, they can check their gun in a box that is exactly like the box that will be used at area or national matches, and know that their gun is to that. And to me, like, that's a big, I mean, I'm not like USPA is not going to make a ton of money on it, but they could make it somewhat a little bit profitable. But that would just be I've never understood why they didn't have that.
Yeah.
Like, why do I have to go to outside vendors? I have to go to EGW for a mag gauge, and I just have to hope that EGW's specs are the same as USPSA specs, and
Yeah.
that's a little bit less than ideal, in my opinion.
Yeah. Well, that's that. Congratulations to Nils for winning.
Huge shout out to Nils. That's
Yeah.
just, I mean, unbelievable. I mean, that kind of leads us into the World Shoot, and I pretty well know that Eric Gaffel will not see this, and I'm pretty sure he's already. I think I heard that he's already signed up for production for the World Shoot, and I don't know how changeable that is at this point. But Eric Gaffel, if you're listening to this, you're a sissy if you don't go shoot standard against Nils at the World Shoot. That's all I'm saying. Like Eric, you're great. You've been the greatest in the sport. But if you don't shoot against Nils right now, then I think you're a sissy. I think
The
it
world
looks
wants
like
it.
you're scared. Yeah, the world wants it. So he should do that. He should shoot against him in standard.
I agree. I support this message. While
Everybody
we're
wants
in
to
the
see
spirit,
that.
while we're in the spirit of calling people out and everything, yeah. Why the hell not call them out?
Yeah, let's call everybody out.
Who else can we talk shit
I don't.
about?
I'm there's somebody that I'm sure we can find somebody. I don't know who it is, but we do need to get like Jared. Jared did have a really good nationals. He shot well, 11th place,
Hell yeah.
and with a stage win. So I know that he, like, at least in our private message, Jared was very happy with his shooting, and you know, he probably wouldn't. I don't know if he'd say it on the podcast, but is happy with his shooting and feels like he's made some big strides from where he was at the start of the season. So that's
Shot well.
that's really good.
Yeah.
Good for him.
Yeah, good
Oh,
finish.
so I got a proposal for a USPSA. People may think this is dumb, but so we just had. I mean, this nationals. I mean, Nils pulled out a larger victory than what the match ended up being. But in the previous nationals, in limited and open, you had winners that were determined by less than a point. And in our the shot timers that we have and the ability to calculate down to like the fourth place as far as hit factor wise, or however low we're going, we can very exactingly determine the winner. But I wish that we could go a little bit back to the old days, because the old days they were just using like handheld stopwatches, right? And so basically, and so like you could only be so accurate with those, and so then you were using the main match to get into the shoot-offs, and that would seed you for the shoot-offs, and then the winner was basically determined in the shoot-offs is how you determine the actual, and that was man on man. So what my proposal for USPSA is if you have a national championship and the top however many places are within a point or I would say a percentage. If they're all within 1%
Mm-hmm.
of the winner, then those four people go to a stage, an extra stage, and they all shoot it again. It's just a shoot off, and then the winner of that then wins the match. What do you think about that? Some people are gonna hate that idea.
I mean, I think it's stupid, but
Do you? Oh
yeah.
man.
I mean, I could see if you had like a steel race, right? Where you had like shoot the line of steel and whoever gets the last
Yeah.
plate first. Like if you had an actual shoot off, like I could see that. But just to throw in another stage, it's like, you're done, but psych, not really. Go shoot another stage. It seems pretty stupid to me.
Well, it's just like you have playoff holes in golf. Like if like in a golf tournament, like
Yeah,
if the two people in the end, if it's a tie, then they go to playoff holes.
right. But it's not a tie.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yes, math. I mean, okay, Nils and Scott, like, I mean, mathematically, no,
yeah.
it's not a tie, but in reality,
Right.
they tied. Like that is like they were so close that like it's a tie.
I would I could see it if the score was less than a point difference
Okay.
because we don't score because we don't score targets in less than 1 point increments. I could possibly see something like that. Even though we do really score that with the hit factor and percentages and stuff, but I could maybe see that. I still think it's kind of stupid though.
Oh, I mean, like I'm just thinking of just how like because like Nils and Scott this year, it's like Scott was not on the super squad, so they weren't like shooting together, and
Yeah.
so Nils didn't necessarily have the pressure on his last stage that Scott had, because Scott
Right.
knew exactly what he had to do on his last stage. I'm not saying Nils was not feeling pressure, but it was different, right? Whereas
Yeah.
if we could have gotten Nils and Scott together, like okay, y'all basically tied, uh, and and again, I know the math people are they're probably screaming at their headphones that no, they didn't tie. There's a difference there, but they basically tied. See, Jeff he's screaming at me too. But like, just imagine like, okay, we're gonna have a shoot off between these two guys. So then, like after the match is done, like they've calculated everything. Okay, we're gonna go have a shoot off. Like just like the drama of that, like the suspense of that. Like Nils has been cold a little bit longer, so he's got to come out and come perform. Scott was shooting in the afternoon, so he's maybe he's a little fresher, but or has shot more recently. He's not as cold, and you just go like, and you have them shoot a stage off. And if they're within a point on that stage, then they shoot another stage.
It's triple overtime.
If you got to go to triple overtime, you go to triple overtime. Break out the lights.
Right.
I don't care how we got to do this. That'd be great. It would be so cool.
Yeah, I'm not saying it wouldn't be a great show and suspenseful and awesome. I just think like the idea is kind of stupid.
So here's how I can justify it. Okay. What do you think the chances are that Scott or Nils had a score, like a line call that was incorrect?
Yeah, I thought the same thing. Yeah, I mean it's definitely there's subjective calls in the match for sure.
Right. So I like that to me is a way I could justify having a
Yeah.
shoot off if you're within a line call, basically. So a point, maybe 2 points.
Yeah. Dude,
then
it could be 15 points.
well, if you're talking about a no shoot type thing, I'd be fine with making it 15 points. Anybody within 15 points gets to go to a shoot off. I'd be fine with that. Dude, that'd be awesome, man.
I think like maybe doing the shoot off not for the national title. Like whoever wins on the paper is the national winner, right? They're national champ. But maybe do the shoot off for like a different title, like the people's champion or something like that.
Oh, well,
I
then
can
you're
see that.
at that point you're basically into going back to the top 16 and doing steel shoot offs, man
Yeah,
on man
let's just do
steel.
that. Let's just do that.
Yeah, I mean those are fun and good, but that normally in the past historically that always required another day. Like you would do that the day after the main match was finished.
Well, then you would just take the top 1%, like you were saying, so you don't have to take another day.
Yeah, I don't like. It's all right. It was just an idea. I was just curious how people would react to it.
Well,
It would never get passed. It would never like actually happen. I was just
yeah.
crazy idea.
Anyway, refreshing scores and watching this thing play out was quite entertaining with all the drama of JJ that he loves to bring to the table. And then, yeah, the incredible race between Nils and Jacob and Sal right there behind him. So it was really fun to watch. So all the major players were there. However, overall turnout was quite abysmal for the match.
Yeah, like us on the Discord, like chatting about it and talking about it as we're all updating scores on the competitor app and stuff. And seeing the lack of coverage from USPSA on it, like their main
Yeah.
match, like they are like, and they like every sports like any sport in the world, that's what they're hoping they get for whatever their like
Right.
their major or their national title or whatever their big match is.
Mm-hmm.
That's what they hope to get, and they're doing everything they can to capitalize on it.
Yeah.
And USPSA did absolutely nothing to
Yeah.
capitalize on what was going on.
Yeah.
And it's kind of pathetic. I mean, no surprise. Nobody's shocked with that,
Yeah.
but
I feel like we have to take a jab at USPSA every episode.
yeah, you might as well. Might as well. At least throw
Uh,
some darts at them.
yeah. Anyway, all right. So we're about to get in some quick coverage of Jeremy talking about his mule deer hunt. Did you have anything else on nationals? Any of that you wanted to throw in there?
Nope.
Okay.
I think I
So
covered
before we get
everything
into
on
that,
nationals.
today's episode was also brought to you by Shooters Connection. So Shooters Connection has all your competitive sporting needs, including USPSA approved match boxes. So they have both an economy USPSA box that like has no bottom and it's just like four sides, and then they also have the official shock bottle USPSA approved for match use box. So they got both boxes. Get you a box so you don't shoot yourself in the ass like JJ did. They also got a lot of cool shock bottle stuff on here. All the hundos. They got the freaking those aren't shock bottles,
Cool.
but they got the boss hangers. They got all kinds of stuff in here. So go get you some Shooters Connection. Use the link in the description. Let them know where you came from. So thank you, Shooters Connection, and thank you for using the link.
Yes, thank
Jeremy,
you.
take us through your journey.
So I had a mule deer tag for Unit 27 in Idaho, which is in the middle of the Frank Church Wilderness. It's called the Wilderness of No, it's called the River of No Return, which is a bit ominous, But my buddy was going. My buddy lives down in Conroe, Texas, which is so he had a 9-hour drive to get to me, and then we drove 15 hours to get to Pocatello, Idaho. And my buddy lives on Diet Coke, and so he had no lie, he had at least 5 32 or 44 ounce Diet Cokes on the way, and another like 3 or 4 cans, like 12-ounce cans in the car while we're going. I'm
Good
pretty
Lord.
sure that's all he drank the day before. And Jeff understands his misery because I gave him crap for it all day. And Jeff's like,
Oh
oh,
yeah, you did.
I know what that feels like. Jeff's experienced that before.
Yeah.
So then we woke up the next day and we had a 3-hour drive to Chalice, Idaho, and then basically another 3-hour drive just on dirt roads, just backwoods roads to get to the trailhead. And so we finally got to the trailhead at like, I don't know, 2:00. Um, and we go in and like I'm pretty sure I was starting with about like a 72-pound pack. I mean, that's with the gun, tripod, spotting scope, food, water, all that stuff. Um, and so we're going in, and we're at least on a trail, and it's it's not terrible. The trailhead actually started up high, and we kind of dropped down off of that, and we got to a place that night just on the side of a ridge, and my buddy was wiped out. I mean, like it was like 8:30. Of course, it's dark. It was dark well before
Yeah.
8:30 out there. Um, totally dark. And he's like, "Man, I'm just gonna go to sleep." And I'm like, "Okay, that's fine." So we get the tent put up and all, and he falls asleep. And I can't sleep. I take some Aleve, which usually kind of help me sleep because it just relaxes like any sort of muscle pain. Like it kind of helps to get rid of that. I took that and some melatonin, and usually melatonin will help me go to sleep. But I also often like struggle to sleep very well. And so he falls asleep, like his head hits the pillow and he falls asleep. And we're on like trashy air mattress. I mean, they're not trashy; they're good good air mattresses, but they're backpacking mattresses, right? And I'm just laying there. I'm laying there awake and just laying there wide awake. And I know that I saw 1:30 on my phone and had not fallen asleep yet. So I know I just laid awake for that long, just tossing and turning, trying to find somewhere comfortable. And it's just not like we were on the side of a hill and like there wasn't a flat spot or level spot anywhere. And so it wasn't exactly comfortable. But finally, I must have finally fallen asleep. And then I get woken up to the sound of a handgun getting racked, like the slide getting racked on a handgun. And I look up and I look over at my buddy and he's got this just absolutely like crazy look in his eye. And I'm like, "What are you doing?" He's like, "There's a bear." I'm like, "What are you talking about?" I was like, did you hear it? Like, he's like, "Yeah, I can hear it." I was like, "What'd you hear?" He's like, it grunted. I could hear it grunting outside. And so I'm sitting there. I'm just like, "There's no bear." I'm like, "Go back to sleep. There's no bear." And of course, then I'm freaking wide awake again because now I'm sitting there like, "Is there a bear?" Like, I mean, it's like your first night like in the backcountry again. Like, it's always like just takes a little bit of adjustment, right? Just sleeping outside. Like, there's always just a little bit of an adjustment from sleeping inside and stuff. And I mean, so I'll never forget the look on his face. And I mean, I think I fell asleep again at like 4:00 and was awake at 5. I mean, like I think I slept 2 hours that night. And so that was the start of the trip. And the next day, I'll try to speed this up. The next day, we basically we were using our Onyx and trying to find terrain that we thought looked good on the Onyx. And you're looking at kind of how to get there, and like it looks like it's only like a couple miles, maybe 2.5 miles to get there. And ended up, I was kind of letting my buddy do that part of it because he kind of wanted to do that part. So I wasn't really paying attention like elevation gain and stuff like that. It's just like the terrain looked good. It's like, okay, we'll do that. Well, it was about 6 miles. It wasn't like 2.5, and we dropped about 3,500 foot of elevation. Um, and with like you think, okay, going down like that's okay, so that wasn't too bad of a hike. When you got a pack that heavy on, going
Mm-hmm.
down sucks really bad. I mean, like it
Yeah.
really freaking sucks, and that's when you get blisters. We were both starting to get blisters, and I mean, it was sucking. We got about 4 miles in, and there's this rock thing that we're looking at. We're like, if we can just get around, if we can just get to where we can see around that, then we can know if where we're getting has any huntable terrain. Because as we're hiking this trail, this 6 miles, everything that we're looking at, we're like, we can't get in there. Like it's not huntable. Like it's either
Mm-hmm.
sheer rock or there's just so much deadfall. It's like it's unpassable. Like you can't get over it. And
Yeah.
so we were just like hoping that we could find some place. And it finally kind of opened up and it looked good. And so we're like, okay, we'll camp here. The next day we hiked up 1,500 feet and about 3/4 of a mile up this hill to try to glass. And we glassed all day. And we saw two cow elk at about 2 miles away.
Mm.
Just massive country. And our plan was to be there for 2 or 3 days. And it was like one day of not seeing anything, basically. Like, okay, I guess we'll just hike out the next day. And that hike out was so freaking brutal. I mean, it just basically ate a day getting out of that.
Mm.
Um, and so then we really kind of only had a day left, and we camped at a place where we could hike up the hill that next day, and we didn't know what was at the top of the hill. We're like, we're gonna hike up there and hope that we have a place to glass and hunt, but we don't know. And we hiked up it. It was pretty sketchy. It was a lot of shale, just really loose rock that we're climbing up. And we get up there and we could see like it was glassable, but like the bowl that we were looking down into, like I couldn't have got an animal out of it.
Mm.
uh I mean, maybe I could have, but it would have been sketchy as piss. uh so we were just kind of glassing for fun and saw a mountain goat, which was cool. But
Yeah.
no deer. And so then the next day was hike out day. So had a few less days, couple less days, and I would have liked to have had more, but just life and uh, stuff. My buddy had to get home, had to get back, and so we had to get out. And that country is just so big that if you make a mistake like we did,
Mm.
and you don't have lots of extra time, like there's just no way to recover, because it's not like you can just spend a half day and find a new place to hunt.
Yeah.
I mean, it was almost like a 2-day deal to get to a different place to hunt.
Yeah.
And so it was good. The Discord people, I mean, like they kind of got insights into like my training and all into it. And I'll say, like, that first day, like everything is just like, man, I don't know if I'm tough enough for this. Like, I don't know if I got
Mm.
it. I mean, it's just, you're just wondering, because you don't
Yeah.
know. Like, you don't know how you're going to hold up to the whole thing.
Yeah.
And on the way out, like, and the whole hunt, like the whole time we were hiking and walking, uh, I was always trying to take enough breaks that, like, if I shoot something, I'm gonna have enough energy left. Like, I got enough in my legs left to pack an animal out of here.
Yeah.
Um, so I was trying to take it fairly easy, at least when I could, as much as I could. My buddy I think he got a little mad at me because he'd asked me how I'd ask him how his legs are feeling. He asked me how my legs are feeling. I'm like, man, I feel fine. Like, they're not. I mean, there's some soreness there, but I feel fine. And I think he thought I was just like being macho, like just like I'm not going to
Right.
admit that I'm weak, but I really, for the most part, did feel pretty good. And then on the pack out, we had a pretty good climb coming out of it. Um, and that's kind of when I got pissed and just put the hammer down and just, like, I'm going till I almost went to my legs went to failure, because it was just like, I'm gonna hammer it now. There's no reason to hold back. Uh, so that was kind of fun. That was kind of
Mm.
good. But yeah, no deer, no,
Yeah.
didn't actually see a deer. We saw 5 does when we were driving on the road, uh, but no actual deer when we were hunting. So that was a bummer.
Man, sounds like an experience, though.
Yeah, like I mean, like the views, the country, like it's so rugged. It's so I mean, yeah, rugged and it's I mean just it's beautiful country. Like it is a good experience to get out there and just go kind of go see like how tough you are a little bit, which is good. Like to get
Yeah.
away. I mean, like different
Mhm.
than whatever your workouts. Like if you're working out for an hour a day, 30 minutes a day, whatever, like that's different than throwing a pack on and doing it day in, day out, eating freeze dried
Yeah.
meals and
Yeah.
all that sort of stuff. So
What did you
I
guys
was
eat?
just freeze dried stuff. I took way too much food. Like I was sitting
Mm.
there thinking like, okay, I'm gonna be burning lots of calories. So like I brought in like I added up the calories of everything I brought in. So I'd have like a
Oh,
gallon
okay.
Ziploc bag for every day. And I was
Mhm.
probably in those bags, I probably averaged like 3,400 calories of food per day. And
Yeah.
like you just don't have time to sit and eat that much. Like so
Yeah.
so I had way too much food. I mean not crazy amounts too much, but quite a bit too much food. Um so basically in the morning we would have like an instant coffee and I put hot chocolate in it cuz I can't drink straight coffee. I need my princess coffee. So I had some Swiss Miss to put in with my coffee. And then like oatmeal. Oatmeal's great because I mean you can just do it in the bag, right?
Yeah.
Um, and then bars. I had beef jerky. Had those. I don't know if you have those like stinger, like those honey stingers. Like
Yeah.
they're like little waffle stinger things. Like dude, those are awesome. Those
Yeah.
are really good. Um, for lunch, like we sometimes had ramen or those Idaho instant potatoes.
Mm.
Dude, those instant potatoes with beef jerky in it are like in the backcountry are just I mean it's like it's great. Like there's so much salt in those potatoes and then you add just a little bit of jerky in it and it kind of softens it up. That makes for a good lunch. Uh and then, other bars for snacks. I had nuts, like mixed trail nuts, and some the same company that makes those honey stingers, they make some little gummies, like energy gummies those were nice treats. And then I had uh, peak refuel freeze dried meals for night
Mm.
at nighttime. So you'd boil like a cup and a half of water and stick it in there for 10 minutes and it rehydrates it. It's not bad. Like they're not bad. They have lots of protein in them, but you do get sick of freeze dried food after a while.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
And then my buddy did have, you might like this, Jeff. He had these mountain ops things that you put in your water. Like I don't know what they had, like electric light and like it was just like energy stuff.
Hmm.
You just it was like it had an individual pouch that was like enough for like a single Nalgene for like 32 ounces. So you just
Yeah.
pour that in your Nalgene, and I mean it gave you a little bit of kick in the pants. It was kind of cool.
Yeah.
So that was good. And that the Mountain Ops you were asking about like pre-workout and stuff, you should look into Mountain Ops for their pre-workout stuff. A lot of those guys, like those backcountry hunters, they're athletes. Like I know it doesn't sound like hunting would be
Hmm.
athletic, but those guys that are doing it a lot, like man,
Yeah.
they're freaking athletes. And
I'm sure.
a lot of those guys really like the Mountain Ops uh stuff, supplements and whatnot. So
I'll have to
yeah,
check
we
it out.
then we drove out to Chalice, Idaho, and we found an absolutely just greasy dive bar and had a greasy cheeseburger and a couple of beers, and it was like the best cheeseburger and beer that I've ever had in my life. Uh,
Nice.
it might be terrible today, but at that point, it was excellent.
Yeah.
It was
Yeah.
quite good. So yeah, it was a good trip. You need to come with me next year.
Dude, that would be so fun. That
It'd be
would
fun.
be.
Be a
Yeah.
good trip.
That sounds like a good one, man. I mean, it stinks you didn't get to pack out an animal, but still.
Yeah, You know that like I mean I'm bummed that I don't have the animal, I don't have the meat, like I don't have like the rack and like you know you those are all like things that you want, but I'm also like I'm bummed because like I was curious if I like had like can I get this animal out? Like am I tough enough to
Hmm.
pack it out? And
Yeah.
I didn't get to answer that question, like if my fitness
You
was good
you should
enough
have
or not.
just carried your buddy out.
Yeah, just say, "Hey, give me your pack so I can see what it would have felt like
Yeah,
to
just
pack an
just so I
animal out."
know. Then he
Yeah.
would have really hated you. He'd be
Oh
like, "You
gosh.
bitch.
Yeah,
You're
he would
just trying
have.
to prove how tough you are."
Yeah, little bit, little bit. That was kind of a. I think it's good for people or guys like to go test yourselves like that and
Yeah.
go see how tough you are.
Oh, I get like, cause I work out at home most of the time, and I know this isn't near the same, but it's what I think of when you're describing this. So I don't work out with people much. So when
Right.
I like go do a workout with people that can lift heavier weights than me and can last longer in cardio than me and everything, and I show
Yeah.
up and we start the workout, and I like those thoughts start coming into your head like, am I gonna make it? Like, am I
Right.
gonna be able to finish this thing? Yeah, yeah,
Yeah. I mean, I think it's probably very similar. Very very similar for sure. And that's good. Like I think that's good to put yourself in those situations every once in a while. They kind of force
yeah.
you to search
I think
outside of
so.
your comfort zone a bit.
Yeah, because I think you can sort of lean into that feeling, and
Hmm.
you can find another gear.
Oh,
you,
for
you can
sure.
find a gear that you didn't know you had, right?
Yep.
Like when it hurts more than it ever has before, and somehow you can just keep pushing.
Yeah.
Yeah, you find that gear, and it's pretty interesting.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it is cool for sure to kind of to stretch that and see where that's at.
Yeah, that was good, man. That was a good recap. I enjoyed that.
Well, good. Hope. Sorry, guys, if it was too long. I know it wasn't USPSA shooting related, but we've talked about this freaking mule deer hunt. Like I feel like I've
Right?
built it up like all year long, and then it's
Yeah.
like, yeah, I didn't see anything. Oh, yeah, bummer.
But I think that's pretty common. Like people don't talk about that
Yeah,
side of it that much. But I'm gonna have to talk to guys here that I mean they go on elk hunts every year, and it's like 10% success rate.
yeah,
It's like most people don't ever see anything kind of deal.
yeah.
So
And this unit is so like the unit that I was hunting. Like it's so big, it's so tough. That and having never been in there before, and we had a couple of things working against us. It was also really warm, which makes the animals not want to move during the day. But then also the moon was full. Like that week
mm,
that we were there, like I went outside the tent like at 2 o'clock at night, and I could walk around like around rocks, trees, and all that stuff. I could do it because the moon was so bright. I
yeah,
mean, it was almost like having a light on outside. And so those animals were moving at night because we were seeing tracks and stuff everywhere, and
yeah,
just I think they were just holed up during the day. They didn't need to move during the day, so they weren't.
yeah,
Um, so it was just a tough hunt that learned some stuff, and hopefully next year we can make some adjustments and find some other success.
yeah,
And Jeff's
man.
going to go with us in video next year.
Oh, dude, that would be so amazing.
We'll get him a wolf and a bear tag. They're cheap.
Yeah, let's do that.
We didn't see any, but
I mean, I would be a bit relieved that you didn't see a wolf or a bear,
we were
honestly.
we wanted to. We both had bear tags. Our goal was to for me to shoot a deer and him shoot a bear. Even though he had an elk tag, we were kind of
Right.
hoping that he'd get if he had shot a bear and I had shot a mule deer, like a decent one, then
Hmm.
we were gonna probably go get tattoos. And he was gonna get like a bear tattoo, and I was gonna get some other sort of tattoo.
Oh my gosh. You should have got a tattoo anyway, man.
I guess we should have got a tattoo anyway
Of
of
a
big
beer
old
and a hamburger.
exactly right. Yeah, that's about all we could have got. So Yeah, fun
Nice.
trip. Glad to be back. And we should have Matt Hopkins on soon to talk about the World Shoot. So, because I'm pretty sure he's
Yeah.
going and he knows like who's shooting what, squad lists and stuff like that. So we'll have him on to talk about that. So thank you guys for listening, and we will see y'all on the next one.
All right. Mule Deer 2022 Frank Church Wilderness. We are, I don't know, 5 miles back in? 4 miles?
Yep, long way. How long is Jeremy's going to take me?
We're going to take Daniel as far back in as we possibly can. Lots to just getting started, so hopefully we can suck it up and survive. All right, camping spot, day one. Pretty incredible space and views. Daniel is ready for bed, and I don't blame him. The ground is quite rocky and not level. You can't tell that from here, but hopefully we won't slide off this hill here or that hill there. But we found a camping spot for day one, and we're making it.
All right. Start of day 2. Daniel had a spirit bear come visit him about 2 a.m. last night. And I got to know about it because he was about ready to shoot a hole in my tent. He was racking his little 9mm. So luckily he did not shoot a hole in my tent. I don't know if you can see this back here behind me, but we survived night 1. Still tired, but we're ready to get after it today. Daniel, how was that spirit bear last night?
Okay, we have made where we're going to get to. I don't know how else to say than that. Today was filled with a bit of desperation if we would find a place to hunt or not. But we finally got about as far as we were willing to go and happened to have some pretty good looking country. Not as good looking as that dude. Daniel, what was going through your head about 1:30 this afternoon?
Jeremy's crazy, which I knew before, but took it to another level.
It was affirmed. The distance traveled today was not actually that far. We did probably close to 6 miles today, 5.5 maybe, but not fun country as far as hiking with 60 pounds on your back. But we finally got a spot that we think we can camp and hunt out of, and we did not know if we were going to do that. So the hunt continues. All right, we are finally at we're just behind the hill of where we're going to be glassing and hunting. It's taken us 3.5 days? 3.5 days, something like that. We don't really know now to get to a point that we really feel like we have a good spot to hunt. We have looked it over a little bit, have not seen a single deer in there, but it's as good as we could possibly hope for. You can see behind me, that's what we're looking at behind us, and where we're hunting looks somewhat similar to that, just closer. Or as far as we can physically go, getting it out. So we're going to sit today about 2:30, and you got high hopes, Daniel? Always. He says, look at his nasty feet. Look at those nasty feet. You know what hobbit feet are? He doesn't know what hobbit feet are because he's wizards. Yeah, dude. He's got hobbit feet and a dwarf beard. because hobbits don't have facial hair. You got the beard of a dwarf and the foot of a hobbit. But it's pretty incredible up here.
I think we're supposed to go over the top of that big old mountain over there.
That's a long ways.
And I think there's going to be a deer there waiting on us.
I think there's 100 deer over that mountain, but we may die trying to get over it and back. Daniel, we have found us the epitome of a glass and tit right here. It looks like you're about to fall off a cliff.
Is it really?
Which looks awesome.
It does look good.
But there's no deer here. We did see a mountain lion track, and there's a good chance that that mountain lion lives here, and that's why we don't see any deer. Definitely the acceptance of defeat has set in a little bit at this point. But this country is a bit crazy. Look at that. Oh my gosh. What do you think, buddy?
Had a little echo to it. That was pretty sweet.
I have very little hopes that we're going to see a deer, but we're in pretty crazy country. Funny, on the phone, this looks flat. It's not flat.
Our toes are curled. Just
Yeah.
sit here.
See that? Not this lake, but there's another lake right there. Our tent's over by that somewhere. We haven't gone very fast this morning, but we're headed up the hill. Last day. You got good juju vibes today, Daniel?
Oh, man. The best of juju vibes.
Yeah. It's our last day. We have no idea if where we're trying to kill ourselves to get to even has a glassing spot, but don't know if you don't look, so here we are. Last night was chilly. First night with frost in the tent. I got a couple hours of sleep. I think Daniel had maybe four. Maybe four. So we're fresh. We're real fresh and ready to rip.
It was one of those things where, like, 4 hours of sleep, we should go climb a mountain.
Yeah.
So we did.
And the most dangerous mountain that we've climbed so far.
Yeah, by far.
We won't let our wives see this video. Yeah, there's the sun just coming up over the peak. You gonna say anything? No.
There's nothing to say.
We
Suffering.
we haven't taken
Speech.
haven't taken video today. I don't know if I can put this on. It's probably not even looking at me. We haven't taken video today. We're on the pack out. Well, back out to maybe we can find somewhere to hunt. That's not stupid. But a lot of hiking, a lot of suffering. You having fun, Daniel?
I'm having a blast. This, just time of my life when I can keep my feet under me and do good.
What about your hunting buddy?
Well,
You sick of him
a
yet?
little suspect. No, we're doing good. Having fun together.
I think he's pretty sick of his hunting buddy, but it's okay. We're making it. All right, we're on a final pack out. Last day, headed home. How's that feel, Daniel?
A little disappointed, but had an amazing time.
I think, yeah, there's this real sense of disappointment and sense of failure that we didn't find deer, but there's this weird sense of, like, I don't know, I feel it with Daniel and myself, like almost excitement to put the packs on because we're on our way to not dehydrated food. And getting to actually on our way to see and talk to our families, even though that's still a couple days away. But it's been a great trip. I'm glad Daniel suffered through it with me.
Likewise.
I don't know if this, you can see my ugly mug, just see how bad I look, but anyway, trip's over, almost. All right, we are back to the car. My buddy's 4Runner. Tag soup for us this year. There were good things about this trip. There's some demons to be worked out about this trip too, but it was a great experience. This country is massive and huge and insane. Daniel, wise words of wisdom.
Well, I'll tell you this. If you can find friends with the Mennonite Mafia, you should always do it. Always. They're helpful. You don't want them against you. I can just tell we didn't have a run-in. They were very, very friendly, but we had a great experience. The adventure of a lifetime. We cooked our gizzards, and I'm grateful for the experience to be able to do that. Thankful for my friend Jeremy, and that he's a little bit off enough to come out here, because it takes a little bit of
A lot of bit. There's a lot of bit.
yeah, but we had a blast. We're gonna do this again.
Yeah, this is only the start. I'm very ready for not dehydrated food at this point. That's kind of top of mind. We
Dehydrated bodies.
dehydrated body. Yeah, we've been dehydrated from day one.
Yeah.
So nope. Hate to leave a tag unfilled, but that is what it is this year. Lots to learn and work to put in for next year. So we will enjoy the views and enjoy the experience that it was. So till next time.
Stop recording, damn it.